Happy New Year! We are here with the weekly mixtape for January 6, 2018, and this is your weekend review video. A quiet week again, beginning of the year, shorter week, but a few headlines to talk about, and then we'll get into some non-financial related things just for fun. So in the new year, the markets have gotten off to a strong start. The momentum from last year continued forward. So the Dow Jones broke 25,000 this week, which was a exciting event for many. We've been told that 30,000 is the next number of focus. We'll see what really happens. I don't want to be a Debbie Downer and take away from this excitement, but I do want everybody to realize that 25,000 is just it's a number, and a 1,000-point move, from 24 to 25,000 seems like a big deal. But now we're getting into the law of large numbers, and a 1,000-point move is a smaller percentage today and going forward than it was in the past. So not that we shouldn't be excited about breaking 25,000, but as we move forward, a 1,000-point move in the market is going to become easier and easier because it's a smaller percentage gain. So just kind of refocus back on and bring some perspective to the markets and where things are going. Things continue to do well. Last year finished the year 12 months all positive in the U.S. market, the S&P 500, 13 months in a row. Now we're working on 14. A lot of things to be positive about. From my perspective, from conversations that I have, I don't really see a lot of irrational exuberance, as the term in our industry, a lot of excitement from average investors about the market. So when people try to put tops in the market and call a top, a lot of times the average investor is getting real excited, and that's kind of the top. I'm not seeing that right now. I'm not trying to make any predictions. You know me, I don't do predictions, but just an observation that I see. The markets are hitting 25,000, doing real well, and I'm still seeing people who are not sure and not comfortable with it. So take for whatever that might mean to you, but that's kind of what I'm seeing. One thing I also did want to point out, while the U.S. markets continue to do well, this is a global phenomenon right now, which is a very big positive. And if you are globally diversified in a low-cost portfolio, you are happy. If you are just in the U.S., very home country bias, as I've written about in the past, you're not doing bad, but you're missing opportunity across the globe. So this is a chance for you, beginning of the year, sit down with your financial planner, your investment advisor, review your portfolio. Do you have global diversification, and should you? If you read me and you've visited my blog before, you know where I stand on a globally diversified portfolio. And I'm working on a new blog post right now that highlights how 2017 was a year that diversification was actually a positive. It didn't hurt us. So be on the lookout for that blog post. But the market's doing well, 25,000, exciting. Don't put too much weight behind that, and continue forward with your planning, your dollar cost averaging that you're doing, and your diversification across the globe, if that makes sense for you. So that's the big thing, number one. Secondly, this week we had some employment information come out. The jobs market in the U.S. is continuing to do well. Jobless rate is at a 17-year low. Wages continue to tick up, so those are both positives. And one of the things that I thought was very interesting and hopefully promising is that employment for minorities is improving. Depending on race, some races are at all-time lows when it comes to unemployment, and the jobless rate is doing well, and some are near. So I look at our country as a whole and bringing people together and not driving people apart. It's good to see that it appears as if everybody is partaking in these positive job numbers and unemployment getting better. Unemployment's at 4.1%. So just an interesting thing that I saw, that different communities are having better employment pictures. It's not just focused on one demographic. So that's a good positive, I think, from a from a U.S. standpoint. So unemployment numbers are doing well. That's a positive for the economy and for the markets and everything. So those are the two big financial, market, economic data points to talk about. In addition to that, we had the bomb cyclone out east. So if any East Coast viewers or readers are out there, you were slammed, and now you're getting a lot of cold. I saw that it's going to be with a wind chill of -100 out east, which is just baffling to me. But it's going to be very cold. And I bring this up kind of on the back end of these economic numbers, in that we'll probably hear about the cold weather at the beginning of the year impacting retail sales. Anytime weather comes into play, Whether or not it's validated or not, it is always to blame for slow retail numbers if they're there. My wife has a store, did see that the in-store sales were down while it was real cold, which makes sense, but online sales did well. So if most retailers today have an online source, they probably should still be doing all right. But don't be surprised if next quarter you hear sales were slow in your favorite retailer because the weather was bad out east. Or it could be good if they sell winter clothes. So anyways, bomb cyclone's here and gone, but now the cold weather's here. We'll probably hear about this cold weather sometime in the future when it comes to reporting numbers. And then we have our normal distractions out of DC, whether it be tweets or a new book that's out. I choose to ignore most of that, and I'm aware of what's going on, but I don't spend too much time listening to it. It's out of my control. It's not going to impact my long-term financial planning. I have a diversified portfolio. Whatever little short-term hiccups may come because of it, I'll plan to ride through it. So just the normal entertainment out of DC as well. And non-financial news, non-financial planning topics. First, I want to plug my new podcast. I finally got my podcast up and running. Released 3 episodes this week. It's All About Your Benjamins, the podcast. It's on iTunes. You can find it on my blog as well, allaboutyourbenjamins.com. I post it there as well. But the first 3 episodes are up. I have a 4th one that I was editing last night. It'll be up Sunday as well. The first few were fun. This one was fun as well. The most recent one we're talking about taxes, the new tax bill, how it impacts millennials and young professionals in particular. So be sure to subscribe to the podcast through iTunes. If you think it deserves 5 stars, I'll even take 4 stars at this point. Now, I would love for you to give it some support so I can maybe see it bump up the ranks and maybe make it on more people's radars just to get more information out there. It's purely educational, fun conversations. We sprinkle in some other non-financial topics like I do here as well. But be sure to check out All About Your Benjamins, the podcast. I'm real excited to have it up. It's been a goal of mine for a while. I've got a long list of good guests, so I have plenty of episodes coming up. I will say there's no set schedule. I don't know when I'm going to be posting. It's not as if I'm going to have a podcast out every Sunday. I don't know if it'll be weekly, bi-weekly. I want to make sure the content is good. So if I could get good content every week, it'll be a weekly podcast. But if I have to go a couple weeks and sacrifice the quantity of podcast episodes to have good quality, then I'll do that as well. But be sure to subscribe. You won't miss it. Subscribe to the blog as well, allaboutyourbenjamins.com, and that'll keep you up to date as far as the podcast. So check it out. Let me know if there's anything you want to hear on the podcast, any guests. I've grown up on the podcast and the blog. We have a website now, contact@allaboutyourbenjamins.com. Drop me a line, find me on Twitter, let me know what you want to see or hear, and I'll do my best to incorporate it. So that's my plug for what I'm doing. And then the final non-financial planning related topic is Justin Timberlake, JT, released a new single. I might catch some flack for this. I don't care. I'm a big Timberlake fan, from his music to his business savvy. So anything he puts out, I'm always interested in. And this new song, Filthy, the video is pretty interesting. I think the song is real good. The beat and the electronic sound to it, I think, is sick. So if you haven't heard it yet, you're probably living under a rock, but go check it out. Justin Timberlake has a new song out, and that means a new album is coming. And again, I might catch some heat for it. I'm usually talking about hip-hop, but I'm a big JT fan. I'll be checking that album out and probably talking about it when it comes out. So there's your weekend review for January 6th, 2018. Again, this is the mixtape, so check out below if you're on allaboutyourbenjamins.com. If you're watching this on YouTube, click the link to head over to All About Your Benjamins and check this week's articles for the mixtape. As always, I try to pick good content for you to consume, cover different areas, but highlighting some of the other great work that other writers are putting out there. So again, if you want to see anything, hear anything on the blog, videos, whiteboard videos will be coming back if you've missed those. I've got a couple lined up for the next week. So 2018 is going to be a busy year when it comes to content coming out from these videos, my written blog, the podcast, whiteboard series coming back. Roman and Leo will be in the video, so it should be fun this year. Hopefully I'm able to educate you along the way, prompt you to have good questions for when you interact with your professionals, and help you improve your financial planning for the long term. So with that, I'll let you get to your weekend. Appreciate you checking out the video. Make sure you check out the articles below, subscribe to the blog, subscribe to the podcast, and I'll see you next week. Have a good one.